What follows are examples of play from the rulebook, so you can better visualize how Black Swan plays during a typical game. After declaring war against the Soviet Union, the Axis placed 2 opposition discs in the southern Baltic Sea. This is because the Germans control both Berlin and Warsaw. 1 red opposition disc is placed in the northern Baltic, as Leningrad is controlled by the Soviet player. With 3 Soviet naval units plus the opposition disc, the Soviets have a 4-to-1 ratio compared to the single German naval unit in the area. As a result, the larger red-controlled disc is placed in the white circle of the northern Baltic Sea zone. In the southern Baltic, the 2 German opposition disc plus the 2 German naval units outnumber the lone Soviet unit 4-to-1. Thus, a Black Sea control disc is placed in the southern Baltic to denote German control. Keep in mind that the Azov Sea, Caspian Sea, and White Sea have no zone of control check. This is because only the Soviet player is allowed to deploy naval units in these sea zones. Both the Axis and Allies must engage in strategic warfare. The Axis plays strategic warfare against the Western Allies during the spring of 1943. 7 German and 2 Italian aircraft steps are under the black umbrella for a total of 9. 12 British and 6 American aircraft steps are pitted against the Axis for a total of 18. Since 9 to 18 is not possible, both numbers are cut in half and rounded down to 4 and 9 respectively. The result of 3 is doubled for the Axis, which results in a total of 6 losses for their aircraft. The Western Allies do not suffer any losses to either their aircraft or production. In the example, the Axis could have avoided mandatory strategic air warfare by reducing their aircraft by 2 steps in the black umbrella, which would have put them below the requirements. For strategic naval warfare, in the North Atlantic, 6 Axis submarine steps are present. The 2 Allied submarine steps do not count in this case. The result is 6-0, which means that Great Britain loses 3 production points to 0 losses for the Axis submarines. In the Central Atlantic, 2 German heavy surface unit steps face 8 British light surface, 4 American heavy surface, and 2 American aircraft carrier steps. That's a result of 2 versus 10. Both German heavy surface unit steps are lost, while the Western Allies suffer no losses for either their ships or production points. Using the central Mediterranean Sea as an example, the Italians have a 4-step heavy surface, 3-step light surface, and 3-step submarine present. The Western Allies have a 3-step carrier, 3-step heavy surface, and 3-step light surface units. The Axis roll 3 dice thanks to their control of Crete, Sicily, and Athens. The Western Allies roll 1 die because they control Malta. Hits are scored on a result of 5 or 6, with the results applied to the owning player of the strongest naval units, determined by the number of steps present in the zone. Each side scores a single hit based on the die rolls. The Italians must take a step off their strongest unit, the heavy surface vessel, reducing it from 4 to 3. Since all the Allied units are the same, they can choose the one that they want to reduce. This turns out to be the light surface unit, which is reduced from 3 to 2 steps. The British carrier now rolls 3 dice and score a hit on a 4 or better because there are no opposing carriers. The result is 2 4s and a single 5, inflicting a 3-step loss. They choose to apply all the hits to the Italian heavy surface unit and eliminate it. Since the Italian heavy surface unit was destroyed, priority switches to the British heavy surface unit. It rolls 3 dice without opposition and scores a single hit. The Italians reduce their submarine unit from 3 to 2 steps. Both sides roll their light surface units and each score a single hit on the opposing units, resulting in both the British and Italian light surface units being reduced by a single step each. Now the Italian submarine units roll 2 dice, scoring 2 hits which are applied to the British carrier, which reduces it to cadre level. The battle is now over, with the Italians still having 2 naval units plus 3 opposition disc, compared to the 3 naval units for the British and single opposition disc. In Part 2, Land combat and the blitz phase will be covered.